at this moment. What it do? What it do? Roll Ryals and we in the rope, in the rope. What is good, everybody? Damn, who messed with my camera? What is good? What is good? Welcome, welcome. All right, go get it. What is everybody got going on? Supreme, I see you. Jace, I see you. Carnage, what it do? What it do? Is YouTube not allowing my audio to come through, Carnage? Please let me know if they still can't hear me on YouTube. I'm gonna restart it. Is that better? Can you hear me now? If you can hear me now, it's because I had to, for some reason, restart YouTube. But I wasn't on mute. I wasn't on mute. So I didn't know. I had to literally restart YouTube. But just so you do know, this is the alternate channel. There's 2 live streams. You will be able to actually watch the content that we're reacting to if you click the thumbnail that takes you to the channel and you watch the other live stream. You can stay here or go there. It doesn't really matter to me. You'll only get the audio here, though. There you will get the imagery. I know you guys can hear me. I know you guys can hear me over there. Let me move my mic my camera so it don't feel like I'm pointing at 2 different people. Or so it does feel like I'm pointing at 2 different people, not the same person. All right. We good. We good. I don't know why, because I kept hitting the mute and unmute to try to unmute it, even though it said it wasn't muted. And at first, I had these plugged in for my audio, but they were working too, so I don't know. I don't know. Is the audio kind of weird sounding through YouTube here? If it is, I got to put this mic back in. But all right, guys, we got a couple of videos. Yeah, we're not going to a park. So no park is right. All right, so what it do, what it do? I'm Royal Ryals, and we back in the room. Please stay out of the live stream, Whitton. All right, what up, Jace? Loud and clear? All right, cool. I just know sometimes YouTube messes, and it has like a static noise in the background of my audio, so I just wanted to make sure it was good and clear. We got a couple of videos here. Let me get it pulled up in the mainstream. Click audio. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this loaded up. This is AOC. Again, I do not own the content to this video or this audio that you guys are listening to, but we're going to break it down and react to it. Shout out to AOC. If you like this audio or video, make sure you go check out Attack on Cowboys. That's the name of the channel that I'm listening to this particular video from. All right, we're going to get into it, guys.
Feature today, but first we're going to start off with QB1 speaking at his Children Cancer Fund event. And he's discussing a wide range of topics, from his weight to Brian Schottenheimer to the status of his health. His answers may surprise you guys. Let's get right into it, and be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content. But let's get right into today's show. All right, so the first thing we're taking a listen to here is Dak Prescott and him wanting to continue to be a mobile quarterback. Let's take a listen. This is all.
So, like, I had questions about that in the beginning. Right, Carnage? Yeah, I'm not sure how I technically feel about that, Carnage, myself, but there is news coming out about it, so I just want to get to it and listen to it, see what they're talking about. And I want you guys to listen while we go through it together. All right, you need to keep that door closed, man. Thank you.
Via the great John Machota, the homie John Machota.
Yeah, I'm almost expecting to not see much mobility out of Dak this year. But I believe that even though he wants to run the ball, I feel like that even before this previous injury, Dak was not running the ball a whole lot. What up, Joe? He wasn't. It just wasn't happening. He had that big foot injury where he dislocated and broke his ankle or whatever, and he was trying to smack it on the ground to get it back in play. It was gruesome and gross, and he really hasn't ran the ball a whole lot since then. There have been some small instances. Yes, sir, Joe. But that's a lifestyle that's easier said than done. But all right. let's go ahead and get back into
Shout out to John for getting these videos out to the masses.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. Me playing my best, I'm mobile. Whether it's actually running past the line of scrimmage or it's just scrambling, making.
You think Dak is going to retire soon? What gives you that inkling? CMC would be great for checkdowns. That's about it. I mean, yeah, we'll just have to see. He had about a year and a half healthy on San Francisco, but we're going to get into that, Carnage. I got a couple videos on that to react to as well. We'll talk about that during that moment.
Making plays happen with my arm, so that's vital for me.
I mean, yes, in the last, 3 or 4 years, he's had a couple injuries. Now, let's see if he stays healthy this season. You know, that may not be the narrative. We'll just have to see how it plays out. What up, Vic? What it do? We will be talking about that, Vic. So stay in here, stay tuned, stay subscribed. Make sure you guys got your notification bells on.
Listen, yeah, I've been running more. Obviously, you've got to when you're rehabbing a hamstring. So it's about just.
So there's been also rumors floating around about Dak Prescott losing 50 pounds. Now, let's put this in this perspective. This man was rated at, or weight reported at, like 234 2 years ago, all right? Last year, he was 229, 228. For that man to lose 50 pounds, you're talking that man is down to 180 something. I just don't see that being a viable possibility. I don't think that that would be more of a concern to me if Dak Prescott lost 50 pounds. So for that narrative going around that Dak lost 50 pounds and is now going to run the ball like he's Lamar Jackson, that is absolutely false. I don't know who did that. I will say, though, that Jake Ferguson was working out with Dak Prescott, and he looked more slender, and he called him the Slim Reaper or something like that. He gave him some nickname like that. So the nickname part is accurate. The weight discrepancy is completely false. This man maybe lost a couple of pounds, but from what we're hearing, he said that he weighs the same. So it's completely false. So he's still weighing in around 220. So there's no possible way he lost 50 pounds. This man did not weigh 270. So CMC to Dallas. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about that. 50 pounds weight loss. Right? Yo, dude, that would be problematic because that would mean that he's now becoming frail. And with the previous injuries, that just doesn't sound good. He needs to keep an amount of weight on. Yes, he has lost some weight. He does look slender. He does look more fit. And that may be by design. But the 50-pound loss, it actually came out reported that he lost 30 pounds. And then all of a sudden it turned into 50 pounds. It's like they want this man to disappear or evaporate or something. Because that would just be crazy to have a 6'2", 6'3" quarterback that's under 190 pounds. That would be more of a problem, in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and play this audio. Yeah, no, it was only a couple of pounds. I think he talks about it in this video.
Just staying on that trend of just getting better.
If it's not this video that I have the clip of, it's the next video that he will talk about his weight, because this video I haven't watched. The next one I have watched, and it's the only one in the list of videos today that I have. The rest of them you guys are going to get to listen to or watch with me live that I have not reacted to or watched at all.
Staying mobile, but doing it while feeling healthy.
All right, so what I took from that is he's not going to be trying to be Lamar Jackson, but he is going to maintain his mobility, and he's not.
And that's good to hear, because we really do need Dak to be able to maintain mobility. I don't think that we're going to see a whole lot of designed runs for him. That's just probably not the case. That's what we're looking into, having an O-line that can run the ball with a good running back behind him. That's where I think we're going to be running the ball. There may be some instances that he runs the ball. I just don't think that it's going to be like designed runs for him. Dak will have the worst O-line of his career next season. He's going to get hurt. I think the O-line this upcoming season will actually be better than last season, Carnage.
Going to play afraid to move around, whether it's moving around inside the pocket to get himself some space and buy himself some time to get a pass off, or whether he actually has to break the pocket and scramble.
And I know you're saying, Carnage, only because you want him to get hurt. I know you want him to get hurt. because you don't like Dak Prescott. And that's perfectly fine. That's your ulterior motive. That's how you feel. That's cool. That's cool. I ain't here to change your mind. I don't hate the guy. He's not he's the starting quarterback for the team that I love, so I support him. Whether I like him or not is a whole nother different conversation. But that's besides the point.
It sounds like he does want to do that. Obviously, he wants to do it at the right time when it's actually necessary to protect his body and his longevity, right? But it does sound like Dak plans to be using them legs, and I'm hoping that he does. I'm hoping that he really is going to commit to using his legs when completely necessary, instead of forcing that bad contested throw on a third down. Instead, how about you just run those 4 or 5 yards trying to get that third down that way?
No, that's what I'm talking about. That I do agree. Honestly, Carnage, the O-line got better last year when Zach Martin left because of how poorly Zach Martin was playing. Zach Martin had the worst career year, or the worst year of his career last year. This man normally had more Pro Bowls than he had pressures allowed. That was not the case last year. Last year, he doubled, tripled, and quadrupled up on the number of pressures he allowed. Zach Martin was out there looking like an empty dumpster. He was not himself. He was hurt, and then age was kicking in, and it just wasn't a good mixture, hence why he retired. Once Brock Hoffman came in, Terrence Steele actually slowly developed into the best O-lineman on our field last year, despite him playing poorly earlier in the season. And I think it was a lot to do with the fact that he wasn't trying to help Zach anymore. That Brock Hoffman came in and was able to hold his own. Not that Brock Hoffman is Zach Martin or better. That's not what that is. But Brock Hoffman was better last year than an injured Zach Martin or an aged Zach Martin. So the O-line got better when Zach Martin went out. If you actually go look at all the statistics, once Zach Martin went out of the lineup, they started playing better.
Love to see QB1 try to kind of return to this style of play. I think that the previous regimes maybe tried to turn him into more of a pocket passer.
I mean, honestly, that's the current regimes have tried to turn him into a pocket passer. But he did come in and was good because he was mobile. The fact that Dak was mobile is what also helped him earlier in his career. Dak in his video, he is slimmer. That's why Jake Ferguson was calling him something like the Slim Reaper. I don't know if that was the exact term, but it was that type of term. But yeah, we're going to get back into it.
Passer than what he needed to be, because one of his superpowers coming out of college.
But 100%, Zach Martin's shoes are huge to fill. But I think Brock Hoffman will be very serviceable. If not, we did bring in Shadiga Jones or Shadiga Charles and Robert Jones. I kind of mixed them. Maybe they can help in being like a swing guard, or who knows.
And what made him a pro was his mobility, right? So he does need to maintain an aspect of that to his game and utilize it in a smart fashion. So I like what he said there. The next thing here Dak's going to be talking about is if he had to play a game today, he definitely could do that. Let's take a listen to him on his injury return.
Close to where I want to be. I don't want to put a percentage on it. Know we've got team activities coming up. Imagine myself being involved in some sort, if not all.
Okay.
Understanding, right? My age, what I had, what I've went through is it's about getting to the fall and being my best in the fall. So not rushing anything, but I'm where I want to be.
Excellent. So
that's good. So he is moving around. He is running the ball. I'm doing great, Jalen. How's it going, bro? How's it going? Carnage up in there with a little promotion. There you go.
It sounds like he's good, man. I think that the Dak Prescott ham.
I mean, they're saying that if we had a game today, he would be ready to play. He's not at 100% yet, but he's definitely getting there, and he's in better shape than he was coming into the previous season.
String deal. I think at this point that's somewhat of a non-issue, y'all. I think we kind of put that one to bed a little bit. And this is in response to the injury-prone questions.
Not necessarily. I mean, you're talking different injuries, whether you're talking the ankle to the thumb to a hammy off the bone.
And I will agree that technically those three injuries, I wouldn't consider you injury-prone. When you start reoccurring the same injury year after year, like Tony Romo was doing, the collarbone or the ribs were always an issue with Tony Romo. And he couldn't get past that. The injuries have been completely different each time. So I don't know that that's necessarily more prone for injury with that case, or if it just damn so happened to be the chance that he got hurt. Now, last year, I will say, last year, I was calling last year the National Football League of getting hurt. All-star players on teams across the league were getting hurt at a higher rate last year than I have ever seen in any other football season. And that's all the teams. All 32 teams had star players going out like crazy last year. Now, there were some exceptions to that. There were some teams that stayed really healthy, i.e. the Eagles and teams like that. But a lot of teams were losing star players at just a high rate last year, and it was crazy.
It's about following the team, following my PT Luke Miller and the plan that we put together, and the doctor and Dr. Brahm. And I'm excited about where I am. If I had to play a game today, I definitely could do that. So it's about moving forward healthy to make sure I can play 17 when the time's 20 and whatever that we get to when the time's right.
Okay. So there it is. And Dak's kind of pushing back on that injury-prone discussion. And I think that's ridiculous. I mean, to me, you call a guy injury-prone when he's repeatedly having soft tissue injuries, or he's having the same part of his body that just can't get right. He got an ankle.
I agree, Carnage. I will agree to that to an extent. That they are more the injuries are happening more because they're having to pull back on certain plays, because they're not able to just play free willy. They have to go out there and be conscious of all these new rules that are in place to try to protect players' health and safety. But doing that makes players have to second guess and think again while they're about to try to make a play, so that to then causes mistakes and also causes injuries in return. So it is kind of a counter effect to the league trying to better the team's chances of staying healthy, but in return has started to hurt the team's chances of staying healthy.
That just stays bulky and just can't get right. But when you're talking about freak accidents, man, a thumb going off of someone's helmet, that's a football accident. That's something that happens in the course of the game, and there's nothing injury prone or anything that he can control about that. No amount of.
I agree on that thumb injury 100%. The foot and the calf, or the foot and the hamstring, again, those are two crazy accidents. Like the Giants game where, who was it? Logan Ryan or whoever, I can't think of who it was, but the drop hip tackle that he did on Dak that took his ankle out, it was wild. And then the calf was kind of a freak accident. Like running, he didn't even feel the pop. He didn't feel it till he went to get the ball snapped in the next play. Then he felt it and was like, shit, that burn. That's a
conditioning can prevent you from breaking your thumb on someone's helmet because they just happen to be right up in your damn pocket when you're trying to throw that ball. The broken,
and that was a lot last year. I mean, Dak Prescott had a hard time last year because the O-line was allowing players to be in his face. So he was either getting hit, having to throw off his back foot, or running for his life because the O-line just was doo-doo last year.
The broken ankle. Come on, man. They literally just outlawed the tackle that was used to break that man's ankle.
Yeah, that drop hip tackle. Yeah, they did outlaw it. And word and start, they're going to be outlawing the tush push too. What up, Crystal BR? That's just how I do. But if you go check out the other live stream, Crystal, that will have the video that we're reacting to. You'll be able to see it. See, I'm here. You'll be able to see it and hear it. So it'll look like this, and I can bring the chat on the screen. So if you guys want to be able to watch the video that I'm reacting to live and not just hear it, because you guys can hear it here, but you'll be able to watch it if you go to my channel and click on the other live stream. I know both thumbnails are exactly the same this time, but you just have to click and figure it out. It should tell you that it's streaming from a platform.
So obviously, that's not his fault either.
But yeah, it's just the way, having multiple devices, Crystal, having multiple devices. Adrenaline was the reason he didn't know he popped. I know. That's the same reason why he tried to pop his ankle in place by smacking it on the ground. That was his adrenaline. That's crazy, though, to think that you're a dislocated, broken ankle on the like. I was like, oh, why are you smacking that? That thing's backwards. You can't smack a foot backwards on the ground and it's gonna pop back in place.
The ham, okay, that's a soft tissue type of injury deal, but again, it came straight off the bone. That's a freak accident. I think now, if you see him continue to have hamstring,
and I agree, the hamstring was a freak accident. But like he's about to say, if he continues to have the same injury over and over again, then he becomes injury prone at that point. So far, the 3 injuries he has withstand have all been different injuries. Even if you go back into the early part of his career, he had an issue with his shoulder that they said was more of like a pitcher's injury. That again, a different injury. Exactly. What up, Didi? What up? I hear you, Didi. You fine. You can stay there if you
or something.
want.
That's when you start being like, okay,
help me guide the other people over to the other stream if you can, Didi.
What's going on here is you injured, but I agree with Dak, man. You can't call 2 freak injuries and some other nicks and bruises he's had to play through with. Anytime you're playing football, bro, you're going to have nicks and bruises. But come on now, man. The dude's not injury prone. Let's cut that narrative out. All right, next up, Dak's talking about working with Schottenheimer.
It's not the same with Romo. Romo was having clavicle and rib and back problems for the last 3-4 years of his career, which is why he became injury prone, because he couldn't stay healthy. Anytime Romo got tackled, we were always like, oh, shit. He's about to be hurt again. Yeah, but it's different. Being prone for injury carnage is when you're having the same injury over and over again. That's not the case necessarily with Dak. Yes, you still worry about injuries because of the previous injuries, but you don't worry about a specific injury. Like, you're not like, oh, man, don't hit him there. Oh, I hope he doesn't hit that spot. Damn. It's not like that. It's a guessing game because Dak hasn't had multiple injuries on one specific part of his body.
Already?
Well, I don't think you have any.
I mean, just excitement. Yeah, just excitement. As you said, I mean, I've known Shotty.
Hey, and you may be right. You may be right, Fatima. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a guess. Oh, yeah,
been there. It's been the last couple of years and really 3 years, right? The first year being a consultant, that it's not any monumental conversations that are needed to happen, but definitely his direction and what. And
I don't think he needed surgery on his thumb, did he?
The way that
yeah, you're right. He did have surgery on his thumb. The one injury he didn't was the shoulder injury he had earlier in his career. But yeah, the calf, the foot, and the thumb were all surgeries. You are right.
He sees this offense going, the way that he sees this team going, and I think it's clear throughout the team with the guys.
Hell yeah, Crystal. I'll be live here for at least an hour and a half. So usually I'm going to try not to hit the 2-hour mark, but I usually will be here for at least the 1 to 1.5 hours. Football season, man, you'll have me all day damn near. That's perspective. That's your perspective on that. I don't necessarily think that's the case. When I broke my ankle, I never had an issue with breaking it again. And I'm someone that used to, like, when I was young, I used to do flips off dumpsters, and I used to do all kinds of crazy shit that you would think would re-break it and never did. But the only thing I had an issue with breaking bones was my rib, because ribs about never heal properly. Having broken rib issues, ribs will never heal back the same. And there ain't really anything they can do but surgically remove the broken piece. And then my arm. I broke my arm 1 year, and while it was in a cast, I had the cast all the way up to my bicep here, hold my thumb. I had a 6-inch growth spurt, and in that time, my arm had nowhere to grow but into a bow shape. So it bowed the bone on my arm, which then weakened it. And then I broke it again 2 more times, which then I had surgery on my arm. I don't know if you can see the big long scar. The big long scar. But yeah, when it was in the cast, it bowed like this, which weakened. And then, you know, me being just a crazy dumbass, I broke it again multiple times because I also was trying to cut cast off and everything. Crack me. Yeah, you better get off of that stuff, F you. Stuff's crazy. It's not good for you, bro.
The way that he's got the whole building on the same page. So just excited for this chapter under him and the way that he's going to lead this team, give the game plan.
And I will say, I do like how these players are coming out and they're talking about Brian Schottenheimer like they will run through a brick wall for this man. The relationships Brian Schottenheimer has been building with these players and these new coaches is what's going to dictate the culture that develops in Dallas, which they haven't had in years. Dude, I messed myself up so many times.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
I got some crazy old stories, but this ain't about me.
kind of the same thing that I've been talking about, man. I almost feel it's like that be watching my videos. That's kind of the same thing that I've been talking about. Is that's the one thing that's very, very noticeable with Brian Schottenheimer is he has a very, very clear plan of action, and you can tell that that's permeating throughout the building to where everyone involved with the team has a plan of action. So I really, really like this. And here, Dak is giving Micah Parsons some advice on being a leader and how to handle his contract situation. Let's take a listen. It should be interesting.
Can you talk about any advice to Micah on how to be
Here, Clarence Hill with his biased comments.
a leader, different leader than he has been, and as well as how to handle this contract situation?
Yeah, I mean, me and Mike have talked.
Yep, that's what's in my arm. 2 shanks or 2 steel plates, 38 screws, and a bunch of bone putty. That's exactly what's in my arm. Shout out to my mama Duke. Love you, Ma.
In the locker room. Leave that as locker room talks.
There you go, Carnage. Let him know there's
I'm very
multiple
confident in that guy and what he can do, who he is, and what he wants to do is
All right, so I'm going to give a quick break real quick. For everybody that's in this stream, just know that we have multiple streams. And if you want to watch the video to what I'm streaming and what I'm reacting to, please click on the thumbnail of my channel and go to the other live stream. That's what Carnage is trying to let you guys know. I'm going to pin his comment here. And then, yeah, just come on over to the other channel. You'll be able to talk with me over there. You'll be able to comment. I'll post your comments in the image. You'll be able to watch the video. Over here, you can only hear the video. Hey, we're going to react to some of the news on that, Aiden. We'll be reacting to some of that. Always, Ma. Always.
as important as anything. And that's in being a leader. And the contract, I mean, that's I don't have the full answer for it, or I think a lot earlier than they were. So, for him, just stay positive.
You guys want to say hi to Grammy? Say hi, Grammy. Hi. Say hi, Grammy. Micah, say hi, Grammy. You can't see her. She can see you, but you can't see her. You'll see Grammy next week when she comes down. Say hi. Say hi, Grammy. Hi, all right. Watch on to roll your toes over. All right. Oh, you good. You good, Phantom. Fatima? Fatima? Is Fatima right? Hopefully it's right. I'm a butcher.
Yeah, understand and make sure that his team knows what he wants and what he believes.
And here's Dak talking about who he believes is going to step up as the leader on that defense as we talk about leadership.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity. I could call up guys, some guys that are here, Galen Tolbert, some guys that have been around, that understand what the way, the direction that we need to go. And so it's a great opportunity for guys. I almost don't want to say one because I want to challenge them. I mean, there's a lot of slates and a lot of positions. Obviously, Michael.
Here's where Dak's calling some players out.
You got CeeDee Lamb. You got guys that you can name, but there's a lot of the guys that have an opportunity to step up. But super excited about what we have, the veterans that we have. I mean, honestly, the one that jumped off when you asked it is Osa, right? Guys follow him. He does things the right way. But
Shout out to Osa.
You can't deny
Just call you fat. All right, I'll call you fat.
Interesting. So Osa's one of those guys in that locker room that kind of has that natural leadership instinct.
He's just asking these boys, let's step up. We want to get what we're trying to go for. We need to step up. Every individual in that locker room, from the water boy to the coaches to the players to the practice squad, they all need to step up and learn to play for each other. You go play for each other, and the name on the front of that jersey, that will then enact and make the name on the back of your jersey stand out much more than if you were to just play hero ball, because playing hero ball, you can then mess up your whole team because you're trying to do something but takes you out of your position and then opens up a play for someone else and makes other people look bad. But it was you being out of position trying to play hero ball that caused that. What up, Vic? Everybody does. All of them. All of them, Vic. Him included, I agree.
Think there. Very interesting to hear.
You'll understand, Vic. I'm not a Dak fanboy. I'm not him. I am a Dallas Cowboy fan. So, therefore, I support Dak because he's a part of the team that I support. You know, he's just a moving piece that's a part of the machine called the Cowboys that I love. So I'm going to support him while he's with the Cowboys. Do I think other quarterbacks are better? There are some in the league that I think are better. Yes. Are there quarterbacks in the league that I think are worse? Yes. I think there are some quarterbacks in the league that are worse. I think he is just at about the middle of the pack to just slightly above the middle of the pack. And if he has a good run game, I think that he can play some really good football and probably get another All-Pro. If we have to rely on Dak Prescott throwing the ball 40 times a game, that is where I do not want him. That is where mistakes will start to happen and interceptions will start to happen. He needs to be throwing the ball no more than 20 or 25 times. Really, I would prefer it to stay around 20 times. I would prefer him to run the ball probably 25, 30 times, and then obviously go from there. I don't think he's tier 3. I think he's tier 2. But he's at the middle of the pack or just above the middle of the pack. I'm not trying to say he's the greatest. That's not me.
Hearing it, no wonder why the Cowboys prioritized getting him done so quickly, and they weren't willing to risk him going on the open market and making it.
I look at it like this. For me to wish or want a player on my team to do bad is also me wanting my team to do bad. I don't want that. I want my team to do good. So therefore, we need each and every piece to do good. So I'm not going to root against something that's a part of what I'm rooting for, because to me that's hypocritical. But y'all be your own people. Y'all do your own thing. And I'm not trying to argue against you or convince you one way or another. That's just how I feel.
In the bidding war. So very interesting stuff there from QB1, man. And that's kind of the overall feeling I've been getting on Micah, and just kind of seeing how the impact that this season has had on his psyche as a young man, as a football player, and kind of coming to terms with his football mortality and understanding, like, hey, you're not invincible. Hey, this thing's not going to last forever, so let's get the most out of it. I think that Micah is really, really embracing the chance to really put his stamp on this thing. I think he's really embracing it. And quite frankly, I'm excited to see what the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to look like with the personality of Micah Parsons printed firmly on the face of that thing, right? So excited to see Micah coming to his own this season, and I like everything I heard from QB1 right there. But of course, y'all know that, man. He gonna have to say some crazy stuff, make me be up here like, that was crazy, that was stupid. He gonna have to say some stuff. He gonna have to be doing some Chief Thomas.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel, Fat. I'm either gonna support my team or not support them. I can't say I support my team and then root against a piece of my team. That's just it don't sit right with me.
Hawks for me to do that, but either way, man, QB1 has spoken, and I see you guys on the next one. Them Cowboys. The next show I'm doing is probably it's gonna be one of the ones, man. It's a vintage Dak Attack episode. I promise you. See y'all.
Calling me, texting me. All right, I can't do the audio. All right, so we're done with that video. We got another video here. Shout out Mark Holmes. I will be on a live podcast tomorrow with him at 5 o'clock. Yeah, you got milk on the tablet. You just wipe it off. Here. All right. So tomorrow I will be on a podcast for the NFC East. It's more of a Zoom call with this man, Mark Holmes, and others from throughout the NFC East. So tomorrow, make sure you guys go live and tune in with that for me. Make sure your notifications are on so you see when I go live for it. But there'll be a call that I'm on with him and others. You'll see Loyal Cowboy there, Game Time Brian. You'll see some Redskin fans. You'll see some Eagle fans. So, man, make sure you guys tune into that. And then we're going to get into this now.
Time to get back to work, back to life, and back to reality, and back. Will not have to go.
Now, his videos, he does incorporate a lot of his personal stuff in as well. So I'm trying to skip through that a little bit.
Through the heart problems and things like that. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And it's now time for me to get back to work and get things going again. Because time is short. Platform viewers think they are credible. Shady McCoy
there we go.
has the dumbest takes in sports media. Literally.
You're the instigator, the orator of town. You're the worst when you convert, just a big mouth clown.
I don't know that Shady McCoy has ever had a credible take. I don't think he does any homework.
No, Shady McCoy is hot take city. That boy, everything that comes out of his mouth is hot garbage.
I don't even think that he takes the notes that they give him and even reads them there. The only thing, you know what Shady McCoy is? Shady McCoy is like back in the 80s, you know, when you had the rappers, you always had the hype boy, the hype guy, okay? You had the rappers out there actually doing all the real work and stuff, you know, and Flavor Flav, yeah, boy, that's Shady McCoy. Shady McCoy, even a good hype man.
All right, try to get
Dak Prescott is ass. Seriously. And it's no wonder that sports media on cable is dying. Now, here's the thing, you know, he's not publicly available while the show is based in Fox Studio Live. Great. The specific budget for the facility operations in New York City, Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's just Emmanuel Ocho, and has not noted that the show went dark after reconstruction of episode 1's content. And the facility basically is replacing Undisputed. Basically, ratings were about 121,000 people used to one of those shows.
All right, come on.
With multiple cameras and views. Nobody is tuning in like that. No more you did. He got to pull the Band-Aids off and let you know kind of what's going on. And he's 100%, you know, incredible with what his takes were. I would love to get him actually. I would love to do, like it or not, thing. Stay relevant. I am, you know, Joy Taylor, and I'm on Speak in the facility. Wrote that song straight up about shit to Shady McCoy. But keep on, Shady. You know, I ain't mad at you, man. You have to do something to get people to listen to you. And if the only thing that you got is dissing somebody, well, you know, use what you got, bro. Use what you got. I would like for you to actually do some homework and actually have real insight about the game itself, because you have played on an elite level. You should be a wealth of knowledge other than a hype. I posted a video last night. Yesterday was a rough. We need leadership from some of these players. He kind of called out Jalen Tolbert. You know, Jalen Tolbert, you know, this year we need Jalen Tolbert to really step up and to become a really good player for us. I would love for us to be able to get that number 2 and Jalen Tolbert develop.
I think Jalen Tolbert is going to get a chance to be a solid number 3 on this team. I think, though, that if he slips one bit, I think Jonathan Mingo may steal that position from him.
Into being.
Because Jonathan Mingo, I think, is really a good talent. I think he hasn't had a good, fair shot to see what he could do. And I think he could very well be a solid number 3. But we need a number 2 wide receiver still. Hopefully that's what falls to us in the draft.
That great number 3 wide receiver for us. The more weapons we can have, the better. And so Dak called out and said, we need leadership from guys like him, another guy like Osa and Digazua, and of course for Micah Parsons. And we truly do need that. We need these guys to get on the same page. I find one of the things I think is kind of cool was Micah Parsons talking about going bald-headed, and you saw Wanye Thomas. It's like, yeah, let's do this. I don't know if it's all.
Yeah, I don't know about all the going bald-headed. I don't care what they do with their hair. Like, I don't care if Micah Parsons wants to shave his hair and Wanye Thomas wants to follow him. That's fine with me, but that shouldn't be a talking point. That shouldn't be a conversation that we're having throughout the offseason about football, is what the players are doing with their hair. To me, that is a pointless conversation that shouldn't even be talked about. We don't care what you do with your hair. Shave it, grow it, braid it, throw it. I don't care. Your hair is your hair, man. That's you. Do you. I care about how you play and how you perform on the field.
All going bald, that brings you all together, but you do have to find something.
Going bald, it'll bring you all together.
To make these guys understand that we're just not out here for me to get my biggest paycheck.
Joe have potential. Who's Joe? You talking about Joe Milton? Exactly. Facts.
We're out here to do something even greater for all of us. And that's something I truly need is I need the Dallas Cowboys to get their stuff together. I've waited too long. I wanted my dad to see the Dallas Cowboys win another Super Bowl. And it's crazy because I remember, like it was yesterday, Stuart Morrison, who was a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, and going to Texas and hoping that the Cowboys could get them 6'2" quarterback, 184 pounds, college. They listed at 230.
Here is where they're going to talk about Dak's weight and some of the reported actual stats about what Dak weighs.
34. If he had lost 50 pounds, we're talking about a guy that would have been 184 pounds. I don't know that I want a 6'2" quarterback, 184 pounds. I know that when I was in the best shape of my life, and I was trying to become a decathlete at JMU, I could run the cross-country course, 19 miles, that was hills, in 19 minutes. How much weight he's lost.
Slimothy, whatever you want to call me, but yeah.
They called him Slimothy. That was what Jake Ferguson called him, was Slimothy. Like as in Himothy, but slim. What up, Cade? What it do, brother? If you want, go to the other live stream in my channel and you'll get to watch the video while I react instead of just listening to it.
A real slim. No, I'm just kidding. I actually haven't really lost any weight. I'm about the same. Weight's just moved, building my legs back up, obviously from the hamstring. Might be leaner up top, but
what up, Landon?
same,
I don't know why I keep calling you Cade like I did yesterday.
Well, it's all over social media. We seen you throwing, and your body looks.
So Dak Prescott says out of his mouth, I have lost no weight. I have become more slender, but not in a manner that weight was actually lost. Let's listen to it again.
up top, but weight's the same. So
how much weight he's lost.
Slimothy, whatever you want to call me, but yeah, real slim. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I haven't really.
I agree, and I just don't think he's going to get a chance unless Dak gets hurt. And Joe Milton is a huge Cowboy fan. His mom was a Cowboy fan. Growing up in his household, his mama always had Cowboy jerseys or shirts on. Joe Milton wanted to be a Cowboy. There were 3 other teams that put in an offer bid for him. He chose the Cowboys. That's where he thought he had the best opportunity. Plus, he was happy to come back and play in Dallas because that was a dream of his.
I lost any weight. I'm about the same. Weights just moved, building my legs back up, obviously, from the hamstring.
He just said weight's the same.
Lost any weight. I'm about the same.
I haven't lost any weight. It's about the same. So if he lost any, it was a very minuscule amount.
Yeah, real slim. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I haven't really lost any weight. I'm about the same. Weights just moved, building my legs back up, obviously, from the hamstring. Might be leaner up top, but weight's the same. So
might be leaner up top, but the weight is still the same. That's what that's out of his mouth. That's out of Dak Prescott's mouth. What up, Wyatt? I agree. He's got an 80-yard deep ball too, bro. He threw that ball 80 yards with a flick of the wrist. Man, I broke down some videos and reacted to some videos of that.
Yeah. Well, it's all over social media. We've seen you throwing, and your body looks different.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the work that I put into it. Unfortunately, I've been through this process of recovering from injuries before that. I embrace it. And I know that a better version of me is on the other side. So that's just the way that I've approached this whole offseason, this whole rehab process. And in the sense of that, as I said, I've moved weight around more than I've lost weight. But I feel great.
So he says he has moved weight around more than he has lost weight. So maybe it's more that he's got more of a muscle mass than a fat content, because fat weighs more than muscle. I mean, my bad. Muscle weighs more than fat. So that it very well, it's a weird fluctuation. He does 100% look much slimmer. He is saying, though, that he hasn't really lost any weight.
Getting very, very close to where I want to be.
You talked about the rehab process. And
Oh, I agree, Wyatt. I think he's better than Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. I think him and Trey Lance are right here, honestly. But I think Joe Milton III, his ceiling is much higher than Trey Lance's ceiling.
The hamstring, where are you with the hamstring?
Yeah, I'm getting close to where I want to be. I don't want to put a percentage on it. Know we've got team activities coming up. Imagine myself being involved in some sort, if not all. But then again, understand, right, my age, what I had, what I've done.
He said he's going to be involved in some of these activities. He doesn't know if it's going to be all. Obviously, the trainers are going to have the say on what they allow him to do and whatnot. But he's ready to get out there. He's not 100%. Doesn't want to put a percentage on it, but he's close.
Went through it's about getting to the fall and being my best in the fall, so not rushing anything, but I'm where I want to be.
He's where he wants to be. Sorry, my camera is not.
You guys are awfully quiet over there on the restream page. Y'all are awfully quiet over here in the chat today. I see y'all in there, but y'all are awfully quiet.
Wi-Fi camera is not hitting and holding this morning, so forgive me on that one.
But I'm where I want to be. Yeah,
He's getting close to where he wants to be. I like hearing that. And we do have team workouts that are going to be starting soon. And when he's talking about Shoddy, I really feel like the team is really falling into respecting Schottenheimer.
The game plan.
I think all the players have a high respect level for Brian Schottenheimer. I think they're all wanting to play for him, with this being his first real opportunity and chance at possibly winning something. They want to get their first with him. So they're coming together and they're wanting to play for each other, which is something that our Cowboys haven't done a lot of recently. Now we'll see how this year plays out, and hopefully the changes that we've heard and seen in the offseason trickle through into the regular season, and we start to see that make a difference in a positive manner for the Cowboys.
Already?
I
mean, just excitement. Just excitement. As you said, I mean, I've known Shoddy. He's been there. He's been the last couple of years. And
I didn't even think about it, but I should have just pulled up this video of Dak himself and just kind of did my own reaction to it instead of listening to AOC and Mark Holmes' reaction to it. But I kind of like to hear other perspectives as well. So if y'all want to give me y'all's perspective in the chat, y'all more than welcome to do so. I'm happy to go ahead and read, conversate with those about that. But
And really 3 years, right? The first
what do I think about Gennaro? Who's Gennaro? I don't know who Gennaro is, Pat.
you're being a consultant, that it's not any monumental conversations that are needed to happen, but definitely his direction and the way that he sees this offense going, the way that he sees this team going. And I think it's clear throughout the team with the guys and the men that he's hired as the coach.
From the interviews that I watched with all the players, because we went through and watched all the incoming players' interviews as they got free agents signed. We watched and reacted to all those interviews. They all reiterated the same messages. So obviously the message from the coaching staff is very crystal clear. These players know what they are brought here to do, and they know what is expected of them from Brian Schottenheimer. That is good, because clear communication is going to be a big factor as well. I do not think Mike McCarthy was ever very clear in his communication, nor did I really think he ever knew what the hell he was even doing, because he did not know how to play or call plays. Gennaro Felice. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I'll have to look him up here in a minute, Pat.
Coaches and the way that he's got the whole building on the same page. So just excited for this chapter under him and the way that he's going to lead this team. Give the game plan already.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm running over a little bit on there. And to piggyback on that, we have the workouts begin on Monday, 2nd, also May 28th to 30th, June 2nd and 3rd, June 5th, mandatory minicamp will be June 10th through 12th. Now, the question will be here is, will we see Micah Parsons there?
Everybody that's on this live stream right now, if you want to watch the video that we are reacting to, click the thumbnail that takes you to my channel and go on the other live stream. There's 2 live streams right now, so you guys can watch the video over there, or you can listen to it over here. Either is fine with me, but you are able to watch everything that I'm watching over there if you want to join that. That's also where a bigger chunk of the community is for the chat line. What up, Calvin? What's good? What's good? McCarthy should have been out of the league after. I agree. And what did Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers say about him? That he was bad with play calling and time management. Same things we had problems with here in Dallas. What, Micah? It's full. You don't like it anymore? Well, then I don't know what to tell you. All right, we'll get back into it.
Now, there's one more clip that...
What up, boo-boo? What it do? What it do? Hey, man, click the thumbnail that takes you to my channel and go on the other live stream. That's where everybody is. If you guys look, that's where everybody else is. So if you want to watch the video and be where everybody else is, go to my channel and click on the other live stream. This one only has the audio for my reaction. That one has the video and audio. If you don't want to go there, then you can stay here. You're perfectly welcome. Oh, Micah Parsons, man. I love Micah Parsons. I mean, I named my son after Micah. My 3-year-old's name is Micah.
I thought I had.
My oldest son's name is Witten.
Oh, this is the last one. This is it.
What up, Jeff?
I think
what
this
it
is
do?
it.
What it do?
This is the right one.
But I agree 100%.
Have you kind of changed maybe the way you're attacking your rehab this time around, or reevaluated it at all?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you're talking different injuries, whether you're talking the ankle to the thumb to a hammy off the bone. That it's about following the team, following my PT Luke Miller and the plan that we put together, and the doctor and Dr. Brom. I'm excited about where I am. If I had to play a game today, I definitely could do that. So it's about moving forward healthy to make sure I can play 17 when the time's 20, whatever that we get to when the time's right.
He is in good enough shape that he feels like he could play today. And the point I've been pointing out to people is we got like 4 months before training camp. So OTAs or team workouts will start on.
We got 4 months before training camp, so he should be plenty healthy by the start of the season for us.
Monday. Weightlifting training and things like that, stretching. Lord knows, let's stretch out those hamstrings. Get these guys in the best shape as possible. I've kind of said, I'm happy that we've made as many moves as we have to start getting all these guys into the system. This is where I would love to go ahead and see Micah Parsons' deal done, so that way he's in here with everybody right now. Micah Parsons has always been that guy that's been the lone wolf, where he's out there and he's said in the past, you know, I like to do things to get my body right and so on. For all we know, it could be Micah Parsons is slowing down the deal situation to get a little bit more cheddar, but also to keep from having to do all those workouts and things. You know, if he signs that contract tomorrow, you know, Jerry Jones don't want to see him in there on Monday working out. Veterans typically kind of like to wait to get those things done. So last thing we're going to go through here is things are.
Do you think the Cowboys will be better or worse? I think they'll be better. I think the players are happier. I think that they're more willing to play for this man than they were for Mike McCarthy. I don't know that everybody on the team really had the same level of respect for Mike McCarthy as they do for Brian Schottenheimer. The players certainly didn't talk about Mike McCarthy the way they talk about Brian Schottenheimer. With Brian Schottenheimer, it feels different the way the players are talking about him. So hopefully, again, that translates to them being a better team and playing better football. There should be 100% attendance at OTA's minicamp. Most persons in Tokyo while the team works out. Yeah, Parsons is talking about that he will be at training camp. From what I'm understanding and I'm hearing, Micah Parsons will in fact be at training camp. All right.
Changing real quickly as far as the draft goes, because out of need, I think the major change is Derek Carr possibly needing to have shoulder surgery that could end up destroying a season. Not that Derek Carr, contrary to where everybody's always pumped him up of being this great quarterback, may make teams.
All right. We don't need to worry about Derek Carr. That's not part of our conversations. Now here's where the part where we're going to get in and listen to what Brandon Cooks, who is now no longer a Cowboy, is actually talking about when he talks about Dak Prescott. Hold on 1 second while I try to pull this up. What, Micah? What's the dealio, Bubba? All right, let me go in here. I'm going to try to pause the advertisements from you guys getting advertised. I'm going to try to postpone those if I can. Yes, I can time them out for 10 minutes. I can put a 10-minute ad delay for you guys. That's the best I can do. Bubba gummies. Hold on. Let me get him some gummy real quick. Some little SpongeBob gummies. And we'll start this video. Hey, why is there a way to hold on? Just take seasoning. Lies. Look, Micah, here. I'll give you some of my Lifesaver gummies since Bubba ate all those ones. Yeah. Here. Here. Don't pick them up one at a time. Just grab them. Just grab them. Grab your handful. Just grab them, baby. Good Lord, he's picking up one at a time. Wait, you don't want any more? I was giving them all to you. What up, Michael B? It has been a while. And you're actually, Michael, you're on the alternate stream. If you go to my channel and you click the actual, the other live stream, there's 2 live streams going. This one, you'll be able to watch the videos here that we're reacting to. So you can stay here and you'll be able to hear the audio, or you can click into my channel and go to the other live stream. You'll actually be able to watch all of the video that we're reacting to in real time here. All right, so I'm going to get into this right now. This is Brandon Cooks talking with Clarence Hill, brought to us from DLLS Cowboys Podcast. So shout outs to them. And if you like this video, go check them out. They also put out content about other teams as well, but this is the Dallas sector of them.
Yeah. Right now, yeah.
This is number what?
Three.
Number 3. Are we done?
That's a question to ask Mama. They all win, so,
all right, we don't care about Brandon Cooks,
you know how that goes.
and what he's doing in his personal life.
2-boy twins. So
congrats if he's having another boy. Child, congrats to him. But let's get into the
oh wow!
guys. Come on.
All you can do is pull out sons. That's good, man. We'll have a whole football team, a basketball team, or something.
Something, right?
Hey, Michael, if you got your notifications on, you'll see that I'm live all the time. Just people haven't been getting notified of this new version of how I do my live streams. So people have been missing out on the channel. So make sure your notifications are turned on and you'll be able to come through and pop in and hang out with us much more often, Michael. We'll see. Well, we got some videos to talk about with that. I'm not breaking that news. I'm reporting it. So whether it happens or not is out of my control. It's out of my conscience. But we will here, in fact, be reacting to a couple videos regarding that.
Free agency starting, baby coming. What's your mindset? What's your mindset with this free agency starting the last couple of days?
Yeah, my mindset is just really taking that time and listening to these teams and and seeing what the fit can be. I'm excited. I really am.
And also, Birds, I don't think that Christian McCaffrey now is Christian McCaffrey from 3 years ago either.
Just honestly can't wait to get back on the field. So whenever that decision is made, a lot of people got to pay.
It's interesting because you've been traded a lot. Have you ever been on the market?
No, first time in 12 years.
Right.
It's crazy that during Brandon Cook's whole career, he's never been a free agent until now. That stinks for him because that means he never truly was able to get the big bag that his skill set could have possibly earned him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I mean, that's just unfortunate for him that he didn't get to hit free agency until he got to out of his prime, because he obviously ain't in his prime no more, as he's now in his 30s and on his third child, which has no effect on the gameplay.
Always been traded. Somebody's always wanted you to come after you. You've been traded a lot. First round picks a lot. Now's the first time you get in the market. What's that like? I mean, is it a different mindset?
Obviously it's new territory for me. As far as the mindset, no, just because I know what I'm going to be able to bring to the table. And like I said, as simple as I can, the simplest way I can put it is, there's a lot of fuel. I remember what this past year was like, these past couple years was like, and I just can't wait to strap it up. That's the best way I can put it, Clarence, for real.
Okay, you brought the past couple of years, obviously.
Now, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan when we brought Brandon Cooks in, but that's because I literally thought we had a player that was very similar to him, but younger, in KaVontae Turpin, and who was also faster. You could say KaVontae Turpin is a punt returner, kick returner, but he also got an MVP in the UFL for wide receiver. So you don't get a wide receiver MVP unless you're good at the position. So that, with the speed that he had and the catchability that he had, I thought that he was not that he was a Brandon Cooks, but that he was a Brandon Cooks-like type player. I wanted us to get a player that was much bigger, much more of a red zone target, more of like a DeAndre Hopkins or a Devontae Adams. Those were the two players that I was really trying to call for. But obviously the Cowboys went in a different direction. They went with a smaller guy, which I thought we already had, so we didn't need him. But I'm not the owner or the GM for the Cowboys, so I don't get to make decisions. But I would have brought in When they brought in Brandon Cooks, I would have brought in either Devontae Adams, which it would have been my preferred, or DeAndre Hopkins, which I would have took if I couldn't get Devontae Adams. We did neither. Just like this year, I was hoping that the Cowboys were going to go and trade the 12th pick in the it's either the 170th or the 150th pick to Seattle to acquire DK Metcalf and the 18th first-round pick. They would have got the 12. We would have got the 18. We would have had DK Metcalf, who would have been great next to CeeDee Lamb. Now, yes, we would have had to pay him a high contract, but we could have lowered the salary cap by giving it a longer extension. We could have lowered the salary cap on it this year. What up, Landon? We didn't do that, though. Obviously, the Cowboys weren't in on that. We do know that they were in on Cooper Kupp. We had Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb that were advocating to bring in Cooper Kupp. The Cowboys were interested. Once they heard what Cooper Kupp was asking for monetarily, they then were not interested. So let's get into what Brandon Cooks is talking about here a little bit.
You don't feel you was used to your best ability. Can you talk about that and what you look for?
That's coaching. Brandon Cooks does not feel that he was used to his best ability. And that's because Mike McCarthy does not know what the hell he was doing. What?
Yeah, and that's no shade or nothing like that. Obviously, you know, we got a great player in CD and a lot of guys on the team. But to my strengths and to what I bring to the table, I don't think I was used right. But that's no excuse. It is what it is. Produce for what you're
He
getting.
does not think he was
so
used
for me,
right. We see you.
I mean, I can roll. It don't matter what year it is, I can roll. So to be able to go out there and go catch the deep ball, be moved around, motioned around a lot, like a lot of these new offenses is going to be important. And that's going to show. That's going to show.
Which is what Brian Schottenheimer was wanting to do last year with the Cowboys offense. Mike McCarthy was not letting him implement any play style or any play into the offense. So, therefore, Brandon Cooks could have been used in a better manner last year by the Cowboys had Mike McCarthy let Brian Schottenheimer actually do something. But he didn't. He went out on his own cognizance and got his head chopped off at the end of the year. Hey, Landon, stop saying hi over and over again.
Are the Cowboys one of the teams you're still talking to?
Oh, yeah.
We don't do spam.
Talk with Will the other day. That door's not shut. Absolutely not. Like I said, I got a lot of love for those guys in the locker room. I think Shotty's going to do a heck of a job putting his
See, even a player that's leaving thinks that Shotty is going to do an excellent job. So all these players are saying that they got faith and they know that Shotty can produce and be a good coach. These guys are all wanting to play for this man. So there's no reason for us to bash on him when the players are thrilled about it.
Face to it. You know, Dak is still one of the top quarterbacks in this league, and they know how I feel about them, and they know how I feel about the organization, and so we'll just kind of see how it goes.
You brought up Shotty. I mean, obviously you knew Shotty, you know, a couple of years. You know, obviously when he first got there, your first year, I think he was working with the defense, and last year, last couple of years, he's been with, you know, the offensive coordinator. What's your thoughts on Shotty and how much?
My Clarence Hill looks like he don't never sleep. He's always got some dark rings around his eyes. That man needs go get some sleep, Clarence.
Can he bring change to this offense?
You know, that's a good word. I don't necessarily would think it's quote unquote change. I think it's just sprinkling his way about going and doing things. I think he's going to take some of McCarthy's foundation and he's going to add some of what he's got and kind of like just gel it all together. He has a lot of energy. He's going to bring energy every single day. He's going to bring the best out of his players. So I look forward to just seeing him in that position, in that role. I think he's going to do a great job.
People talk about his communication skills and how he relates to guys on both sides of the ball. Can you just go into that a little bit, how he communicates with you guys?
Well, first of all, he still think he's young.
Okay.
He's not, but he moves
Ryan
around like
Schottenheimer thinks
he's trying to
he's
dance
young.
a little bit. So that's the start. I think that alone right there is going to get guys to just be able to gel and vibe with him. But like you said, his experience on the offense and the defensive side of the ball, I think what he's going to understand is how the defense is going to try to attack his offense. And I think some of those coaches that he brought in is going to help him to be able to minimize that. And really, like I said, kind of put his sprinkle his taste on everything. But from a quarterback standpoint, receiver, he does such a great job of communicating in his own way with each position. And I think that's great for the head coach.
Scared of what?
Just coming to the Cowboys, certainly with a lot of high hopes, confusing coming to an organization you thought was on upstream or give you a chance to win again. You go 12-5, and what happened last year? What happened with that team other than the injuries? I mean, what happened?
I mean, I look at last year, it's very disappointing. Like you said, yeah, you got the injuries, but just even from the standpoint of it almost felt like the year before there was such high hopes, didn't get it done, and I think a little bit of that kind of bled over to the next season. And then, finally towards the end of the year, there's some sense of urgency, but as you know, in this league, that's too late. So I think just the letdown from that year before, I think overall as a team, it was like, man, that was the year. But I think, they'll do a good job of resetting, making some changes that they made and whatnot. I think that vigor, that energy is back, and a lot of motivation and fuel is definitely back for the guys.
Do you question the culture, tours? I mean, there's so much talk about the culture, and talk about the culture and the brotherhood in that locker room. Is it a winning culture?
It is a winning culture. I think I would tell you right now that is one of the closest locker rooms I've ever been a part of.
So the Dallas Cowboys the locker room now is as close of a locker room that he's ever been in. So the players are close together, tight knit as they've ever been. And it's the closest locker room he's ever been in
my career, and I've been a part of some great locker rooms. So I would say that first.
And he was with Tom Brady.
The will to fight for one another and all that, and how close everyone is, both sides of the ball. It's almost second to none. I think when you talk about the tours and all that, that's just an excuse. That's just an excuse because if it ain't going right, you can say that. But if it's going right, you're not talking about it. I think people understand that if you can use it as a positive. Being on the Cowboys, if you can focus on the main task and the task at hand, and then all this other stuff comes along with it, then it's great. But if you're focusing on, you want to be famous, you letting the star build your brand instead of you building your own brand.
And that's what a lot of people have said about the Cowboys. Micah Irvin has said it a lot, that the Cowboys aren't one brand. The Cowboys are 53 brands all fighting to get their name out there, which has been a big reason of why they've been soft and lackluster on defense and is not good when it comes up against playing in the playoffs.
And that's just being the best football player you can be. Then that's when it can become a distraction. So I think it's an excuse. It is what it is. It ain't changing. We all know that. And so
welcome back, Crystal. Welcome back.
Embrace it. You know what I mean?
What did you like most about being a Cowboy?
Well, Crystal, if you want to watch the video that I'm reacting to, you just got to click into my channel. Click the thumbnail that takes you into my channel and go to the other live stream. Or you can stay here, but you're only going to get the audio here. There you will get the video as well. And there's other people there.
Man, I think the expectations you are supposed to be great as a team. I love that. I love that as a player. I think this past year we didn't live up to that, as a whole. But I think that's one of the best things because it's the Dallas Cowboys, the most, wealthiest franchise in all the sports.
Most storied franchise in all the sports. And Crystal, thank you.
You brought up Dak earlier. We talked about Dak and certainly how he's going to relate to Shot. Certainly, you played with some great quarterbacks with Tom Brady, certainly Drew Brees. Can the Cowboys win with Dak? Is he a quarterback they can win with?
Yes.
No question.
No question. Yeah.
They can win with Dak. Brandon Cook said it. Quick side note. You guys ever want to get the best flavor out of your chips? Open the bag upside down. All the flavor settles because they put the bags right side up on the shelves. So all that good stuff settles at the bottom. You open them from the bottom up, you'll get all that flavor to start off with. All right. Sorry about that.
Can you talk about the criticism he gets? Because it seemed like for a guy who you says that, of course, you can win with, he certainly gets a lot of criticism from the outside, even from the own fan base.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's because, once again, it's the Cowboys, right? Like,
exactly. I agree. He says Dak Prescott, even though you say he's good and he could win big games and make it to the Super Bowl, you say that he's able to do that. He gets a lot of criticism from outside of the fan base and inside the fan base, which is, in fact, he does. But now, say that Dak Prescott was on the Jets or was on Miami or was a Seattle Seahawk. Do you guys really think that the mainstream media would be talking about Dak the way they talk about him now if he was on one of those other smaller market teams? No, they wouldn't. They talk about that man the way they do because he's the star quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, which is going to cause people to watch. They do it for ratings. All of these 3- and 4-letter networks are hot take city. They are out there just to drive views and ratings. They're not out there to give you the real. They are only there to get themselves rich off of your viewership.
Like, you know what I mean? That it's just a magnifying glass on everything you do, and especially to be a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. That's what you're gonna get. But yes, you can win with that. What people don't understand, in my opinion, from a quarterback position, that's why they get paid the big bucks. So I don't feel bad for him. But at the same time, he needs help, and I'm not just saying help from players. You need help as an organization, right? You need to put his teammates in places where they can receive the most help to be the healthiest they can possibly be. Just taking things off his plate. When it comes to play calling and stuff like that.
See that he's getting into it. The issues have been a lot to do with the coaching staff having players playing out of position or in bad position for them to not do as good as they could be doing. There's a lot of times where I'll be watching the football game and I'll be like, why the hell are they calling that play? It's 3rd and 4 and we're gonna throw a pass to the running back behind the line of scrimmage? Why? Why are we doing that? On 3rd and 4, why the hell are we throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage? At all. At all. I would rather run the ball than throw the ball to the outside to the running back behind the line of scrimmage.
And so it's an umbrella of things
that
that
is a low production play,
and that's what you're seeing over these past decade plus, right? It's not just on the quarterback. You know what I mean? It's
especially when all the other teams, they know the Cowboys were known for doing that or throwing hook routes. Like that's all we did were slants and hook routes. The Cowboys offense was so predictable under the Clapper, Big Red, Jason Garrett, and under Mike McCarthy. They did good when Kellen Moore called the plays. I don't think Kellen Moore is going to be a great head coach, but he could prove me wrong.
The defense, the offense, special teams, outside of football, it's all that. So when it comes to the football part.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, well, I mean, what I said actually happened as well. There were many times where I watched us on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, throw the ball to the outside numbers to a running back behind the line of scrimmage and expecting him to be able to get upfield and get the first down. That is a low production play. That is a low percentage play. That play on that type of down, I do that on 1st down. But I damn sure ain't doing that on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5.
Yes.
No brainer.
And yeah, I mean that as well with the go route to Turpin. As we didn't even do that enough, we would call that play at the wrong time. They literally were calling, like Mike McCarthy would call a play and then call another play that contradicts the play that he just called. Instead of like most good coordinators or most good play callers, they're going to call plays in a manner that make you think that, oh, we saw that play earlier, but it's completely different. They actually build off of their plays. They have a base play, and then they build different plays off of that base play so that the defense is guessing because they're like, oh, I saw this lineup earlier. We can go for it. With the Cowboys previously, they go for it and they would either get an interception or a stop because the play was exactly the same. Never was the play actually built off of in a manner that had the defense on, kept them honest or kept them guessing. We were very predictable. I was calling out plays from my couch, and that's not what we should be able to have. And then we wonder why other teams, opposing defenses, say, oh, the Cowboys are soft. Oh, they are predictable. Those are all things we always heard the opposing teams say in their post-game conferences.
Yes, you can win with that.
You can win with that. And so the Shotties talk about wanting to run the ball more to help the quarterback. What do they need to do? What do they need to do to complement CD?
I think the biggest thing is that's a good question.
This is kind of a splitting the hairs on the edge type of question for Brandon Cooks, where he knows he's not a Cowboy no more, but knows that the Cowboys need a solid number 2 wide receiver to go with CD Lamb and a good running game. So he's like, damn, I can't say a solid number 2 because I'm supposed to be that. And you weren't that for us. You were all right. You had one decent year with us, but nowhere near the production we would have expected from a Brandon Cooks when he had 1,000 yards with every other team he played on. And if he goes to the Saints under Kellen Moore and has another 1,000-yard season, that's just more of us knowing that Mike McCarthy did not know what he could do. If Kellen Moore can go now and get 1,000 yards with Brandon Cooks, and Mike McCarthy wasn't able to do that in 2 years, that tells me more about Mike McCarthy than it does Brandon Cooks. No, not as far as wide receiver goes yet. Well, not yet. I think that's going to end up being more of a trade if we do in fact go that route, which Stephen Jones says that we're not done in free agency yet, that we're still looking for a receiver. So we'll see. And then we hear things like, oh, Mingo could be the number 2. I don't know. I think he could be a very solid number 3, maybe develop into a good number 2, but I don't know that he's there. I think he has an opportunity, though, and if he doesn't take advantage of it, it'll just be another talent wasted.
Just using guys to their strengths around them is what it's going to come down to. Yep.
That's something that didn't really happen with you to a certain extent. I mean,
Exactly. Mike McCarthy did not know how to use players to their best attributes. He would bring in a player that was really good on another team and then use him in a different way that he didn't see that player be good in before. No, if you see a player, you know their traits, use them to the best ability of those traits. Yeah, they were here. What, bye-bye? Why do I need to cut this? It's just a tag. There. It's gone. You're welcome. All right. Go play, bye-bye.
we talk about during the season about the stop routes and that. I mean, can they use you to your strengths and still use CD on the move? And how does that all work? How do you?
Yeah, I think
because I know you like to be on the move as well.
Yeah, it's a habit.
I think a lot of people are booking Ted McMillan to go to the Dallas Cowboys in the draft. You got a new knife today? That's dope. Well, I would not be surprised one bit if we took Luther Burden or even Michael Golden over Ted McMillan. I wouldn't be surprised. And who knows? Ted McMillan could go to the Saints, for all I know, before us. But I feel like that a lot of people are hearing Ted McMillan's name in the media and thinking that he's the best. I think overall The best player on the field at the wide receiver position, in my opinion, is Luther Burden. I think he's the most well-rounded. I think if you want flash, then yeah, Ted. I think the only knock on Luther Burden is some people say that he might be a little bit of a diva. I can't say that I've witnessed any of that or heard anything coming out of Mizzou about that, but I think he's the most well-rounded wide receiver in the draft, in my opinion. And before the offseason came, I think that he was the highest rated wide receiver until we saw the combine and this and then the bowl games or whichever. But Luther Burden kind of fell in his fit. But I personally would take him over Ted McMillan.
Be meeting him, right? You know what I mean? And CD will tell you that, you know, he wants to play outside a lot more, right? And just be able to demand that one-on-one and match up. So I think it's a balance, really. I'm not saying it has to be all the time because that's unrealistic. But to get the defense to think and stuff like that, it will help in that aspect of just being able to
will help 100%.
whoever it is. And obviously they know how I feel about it. So.
What is your patience level with this free agency process? Certainly it's new to you. I mean, are you antsy? Are you patient? What were you?
All right. So he's done talking about the Cowboys there. That video is about wrapped up. Hold on.
With the process.
No, I'm patient, man. I'm just grinding, working out. Like I said, new baby, focus on those things, and I'll let everything take care of itself. Because like I said, I know what I'm going to bring, and it don't matter to me. If you want to throw in the parking lot as a quarterback, we can throw in the parking lot. You know what I mean?
He says, I'm parking lot pimping out here. Get it to me. All right, now here is Brock Hoffman. This video is brought to you by Cowboys Fan Talk, which is also Rome. Shout outs to Rome for this video. I have not seen it yet myself. We're going to go ahead and break it down and react to it. I did time out the ads for another 10 minutes, so hopefully you guys don't get any ads for another 10 minutes. Let's go. So Brock Hoffman sends a message to Cowboys front office.
Underlying fan talk, right? Shaking Cowboys Nation. It's your boy, Mr. Rome. Cowboys fan talk, right back like I never left. What's good with y'all, man?
That's dope,
Listen,
bro.
today,
Smith & Wesson,
I got a
they make some good knives.
underlying story I wanted to highlight.
We'll get into it.
It's not really not known.
We'll get into the CMC, Walt. That's coming up in the next 2 video clips. They'll be talking about that. So we'll be reacting to some CMC information here shortly.
It's just not being talked about. And that's the fact that Brock Hoffman is not happy with all of the, let's just say, disrespect from not just the fans. And
I'm going to go ahead and say it. Like, I thought Brock Hoffman, as a backup swing guard, came in and played phenomenal. And I like the hunger that he has. I like the fight that he has. Brock Hoffman ain't one that's going to sit back and play with you. He's going to let you know how he feels, and he's going to push, shove, and fight you to get you to the point. What up, William? What it do? What it do? It's a store called the Quick Trip. But hey, if you guys are on this live stream right here, I just want to let you know that you only get the audio version of the video I'm reacting to. If you want to watch the video, please click the thumbnail next to my name and go to the other live stream. That will bring you here and where everybody else is. So please, if you want to watch the video that I am reacting to, all you have to do is go to my channel and click on the other live stream. There's 2 live streams. The other live stream is the main, and this is the alternate live stream. So please, just if you want to watch it, click on that. You'll be able to watch along and listen. Over here, you can only listen.
Make no mistake, Cowboys fans have not been showing him a lot of deference, and I get it. Brock Hoffman falls in the same categories of Jalen Tolbert, a Jalen Brooks, players that we want or have wanted to step up and be amazing, but haven't quite hit the levels where you'd be comfortable like that position is all set. That's all that is. But I get it, Brock. Brock don't care what I'm talking about. He don't care nobody talking about.
Also, please make sure if you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe button, and Notification bell so you know every time we go live, you are here.
He like, listen, lace him up. Let's get to it.
Well,
Because
you're in the
he's
right
like,
place.
I've been
You're in the
overlooked
right place,
and
Walt.
underrated my entire career. And he has. You know what I'm saying? But the message he sent on Twitter stood out to me. You know what I'm saying? He posted something in January, basically saying it was year 3.
I hear you, birds. Hey, man, tap in with us, brother. Or birds with the word. Tap in with us, brother, man. Make sure you hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Don't forget to hit your notification bell, man. We go live every day except Wednesday. Wednesday, I will still drop some short videos. But we are live every day talking football. Monday and Friday, we do a little WWE as well. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you stay tuned with us. Puff Dutch in the house. Shout out, brother. Shout out. What it do? Walt, you in the wrong channel. Yes, we did get a dono from Crystal VR. Shout outs again to her for the $1 dono. Much appreciated.
And let's get back to work, right? He posted something in January and said, most hated, year 3. And you know I love most hated because Dak Prescott, most hated player in the NFL, Brock. So I feel you. Maybe the most hated lineman because everybody that wear the stars is the most hated. But I get it.
Exactly.
That message back in January, before all of the discussion, before the Robert Jones signing, before the Sadiq Charles signing, which I'm going to talk about in a second, is basically Brock saying, listen, I'm the most hated on this team, as in most overlooked, and you gotta fight with Jalen Tolbert because he hated too.
Appreciate you, brother.
But the reason why I'm bringing this up is Brock is saying line them up. Let's just lace them up. Let's see who better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure yesterday,
like I said, Brock is willing to fight. Brock is willing to fight for what he wants, and he's ready to fight for his position on a team. He is tired of the disrespect that everybody is giving him and thinking that he ain't good enough. He's willing to come out here and fight and show you that he is worth it. Oh, I got you, Walt. I got you, brother.
when he put ready, you know what I'm saying, ready to go to war, basically. I'm ready to go to war to get this position. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to battle. I'm ready to go earn this position. And you know what? That's a mindset you every player to have. That's why I'm not mad at the message he's sending.
No, and with what Brian Schottenheimer has come out and said, Brian Schottenheimer said it's going to be a competition all training camp. Every position, they're going to be competing to find out who the starter is. That's something that we have not. We have had nepotism and favoritism in the Cowboys locker room for years. Reasons why we brought Zeke Elliott back and started him last year with Cooks, the running back, over leaving Rico Dowdle on the field. And we had Rico Dowdle, who was our, in fact, best running back, as a healthy scratch for that game. We didn't want to see Zeke and Cooks. We wanted to see Rico and Cooks. But they sat Rico because, obviously, Jerry has an affinity for Zeke Elliott. I agree, Calvin. Hey, exactly. I agree with you 100%, Calvin.
It's not disrespectful in any means. It's not hating on the fans. It's more so just saying, listen, I get it. Y'all don't believe, but I'm ready to put in the work. That's all you can ask for. That's why I like Brock Hoffman. He brings a nastiness to the field. He do.
Hey, Birds. Hey, maybe we can do a collaborate at some point, Bird. I can't really call you Birds, though, because we already have a Bird. So I'm going to have to call you Bird the Word. But yeah, man, maybe we could collaborate at some point and put a video out together. I'm all for it, brother.
Like, y'all seen Brock out there.
We'll just have to find time, man, because I'm always live. Wednesday's the only day I don't go live. That's where I try to spend most of my time, doing things with my family and my kids. As I do things with them every day, obviously, but I try to get on here as much as possible because this is a job as well as a hobby. Ever since it's been starting to pay, it really hasn't paid me yet, but at some point there will start to be some monetary value that comes behind it. It has already started. I just haven't received it yet. I can see it adding up. I just haven't received it. But yes, I'd be more than willing to come and do a podcast with you as well, bro. Obviously, I'm still going to maintain my own as well. But if you have, I don't know if you do Restream, but if you have Restream for your podcast, we can do it all together and stay on both of our channels and you can either invite me as a guest or I can invite you as a guest. That way both channels still get the views that they normally would get. Plus you can share your community as I can share my community, and we can all kind of mesh together.
Just antagonizing people. And he brings something to the offensive line that some people can't. Everything ain't just physical attributes. A lot of it's up here. A lot of it's just what you bring to the table, what you add to the team. Some people bring an attitude to a team that helps uplift other players. Brock Hoffman brings a nastiness to our offensive line that kind of permeates.
He does definitely bring a nastiness. Facts, bro. Facts. Do you use Restream, Bird the Word?
It's through the offensive line. And I like that a lot. Because some people just talk with their play. Brock talks with his mouth.
Yeah, Brock talks with his mouth and the play. I am not currently in Dallas. I hope to be able to visit at some point soon, because I would love to be able to get down there for a game, as well as do a tailgate outside the stadium to react and have like a meet and greet with the community that I have that also lives in Dallas. So I would love to be able to do that at some point. That's what my aspirations for this channel are for me to be able to travel to different games. And in the city of those games, I can do meet and greets and, interact with the people of the community that I've been following and subbing to my channel here.
Pause. And his action.
So we can invite as a guest, and you can come in, or I can come in, however it works out, for sure. We'll have to set that up, Bird the Word.
He's a little chippy, but I think he gets people out of their element and off their game, which helps us in the long run. They spend most of the game arguing and battling with him, more focused on him, that's on stopping the overall team.
Brock Hoffman will get the other players, opposing player, out of their own character. What up, Bird? Back shots, what it do? No, Bird, back shots. At some point, I will not be doing both live streams at the same time. More people get notified when I go over on the YouTube side, so I try to, kind of filter the traffic over to the mainstream and get them to turn their notifications on so that everybody just comes to this video so that I don't have to do this anymore. So I'll probably be doing it for a couple of weeks, back shots, but it will not be an indefinite thing. No, sir.
That's a good thing. But we all want him to just play a little bit better. I get it. 100%. Yesterday, the Cowboys signed Sadiq Charles, starting guard that retired. He started for the Tennessee Titans. I think he was drafted by the Washington Commanders. He's only 26 years old, former LSU Tiger, and coming out. I'm not saying he was super highly touted, but decent lineman, some decent physical attributes, humongous human being. Especially if you want to be a road grading offensive line. But you always want to ask.
There, Bird the Word, I just sent you a sub, brother.
Yourself this, and this is why I didn't get too excited to make a solo video for him. Why did you retire? Now, it can be personal reasons. It's kind of like with Michael Gallup. What made you just tap out? Because once you get some quit, now it can be personal reasons. It's kind of like with Michael Gallup. Make a solo video for him. Why I didn't get offensive line, but you always want to ask yourself this, and this is why I didn't get too excited to make a solo video for him. Being offensive line, human being, but decent lineman, some decent physical attributes, humongous human being. Especially if you want to be a road grading offensive line. But you always want to ask yourself this, and this is.
You can see 67 is hungry. He throwing is on the ground.
Why I didn't get too excited to make a solo video for him. Why did you retire? Now, it can be personal reasons. It's kind of like with Michael Gallup. What made you just tap out? Because once you get some quit in you, it makes me think, could you quit again? Now,
I agree with that. When a player quits on a team, it does make me want to question when he comes back, like Anthony Richardson. Is he going to quit on his team again when things get tough? Or is he going to be able to stick it out and fight with his boys? You should be able to fight with your team. should be able to stand there, hold your ground, and be a man and fight for the team that you signed up for. You committed yourself to that team. What up, Jeff? What's good with you, brother? What's good with you? If you go on the other stream, Jeff, click the thumbnail that takes you to my channel and go on the other live stream to watch the video that we're reacting to. Otherwise, over here, you're only going to get the audio.
Like I said, everyone has their reasons for stepping back from the game. I'm not going, he's a Cowboy now. I want him to succeed. You know what I'm saying? Just like I want Brock Hoffman to succeed, and I would love for Jalen and Jalen Brooks to succeed. Prove me wrong in all of my naysaying, all of my...
I don't know about Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks, appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Much love, man. Much love. I don't know that Jalen Brooks is going to be the next man up in the wide receiver room. I think Jonathan Mingo already overstepped him. Ryan Flournoy will be a question mark for me, for sure.
Negativity and show me, hey man, I'm one of the better players in the league. Show me, prove me wrong. I promise I'll be just as loud as in my praise as I am in my detractions. But Saahdiq Charles is not a new needle moving move. It could be a sneaky good move, possibly.
I think Saahdiq Charles is a better move than he's leading on to be. I don't know about if he quit or not. I can't say anything to that because I haven't looked into it. I'll have to check into that, where Saahdiq Charles has quit on his team before. I know he came from Washington. I know he's still young. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about him quitting on his team yet. So that's something I'm going to have to look into myself before I report on it.
Possibly. That's it. That's all we got. We cannot give him the benefit of the doubt. He's come out of retirement. He's only 26. And it wasn't because of major injury. That's the scary thing. Michael Gallup retired because
No, Michael Gallup came back from his injury, got released, went to the Saints or the Raiders, and then retired. I think it was because he just didn't want to play anymore. I think Michael Gallup, his heart wasn't in it no more. So that's where Michael Gallup has me with the big question marks of, is he going to have the same it factor that Michael Gallup had for those 50-50 balls before he retired? Because if not, then I don't think Michael Gallup is even really a good number 3 wide receiver. But we'll have to see. He's back with Kellen Moore, so that's probably why he's happy and wanting to play again. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. That way you guys all know when I go live.
And he didn't trust it. This dude just retired, from what I understand, and now he's back. So they worked him out. Maybe they think they can get him into tip-top shape. He might be like the Cowboys like to find players on the outskirts, and you don't expect him like Kevontae Turpin or like our kicker. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's one of those situations where the Cowboys found another cheap player that has a lot of value, and I'll be like, wow, Stephen Jones is really good at bargain shopping. Maybe, possibly, but we'll see. You know what I'm saying? Because Brock Hoffman's looking at it like this. Man, I was ready when y'all signed Robert Jones. Ain't nobody worried. I'm keeping the job on Robert Jones. I'm better than TJ Bass. This is in Brock Hoffman's mind.
TJ Bass did play decently well last year for the limited snaps that he had, but I would agree. I think Brock Hoffman is better than TJ Bass.
And this ain't me trying to create dissension. I'm just saying.
And he's probably better than Robert Jones. But I will say also, Robert Jones, it was either a year or two ago, was considered one of Miami's best offensive linemen. So I don't know. Will we get that version of him? You know, those are question marks that won't be answered until we actually see him playing on the field.
All of the battles, Brock Hoffman he got to the starting position. So, you know, with all of the guards that could be battling for this Zach Martin position, outside of possibly drafting one, which is on the table. It's frustrating what's on the table. You got Brock Hoffman, it's like, it's my job. You got Robert Jones, who we signed.
I don't think offensive guard is necessarily the spot we're going to be looking for in the draft. I think more tackle. But honestly, to me, it'd be more on the D-line for the tackle position, the interior, the 1 tech, the 3 tech. I think those are the guys that we really need on the D-line.
Not definitively going to make the team. You got to.
But we've done picked up a couple of guards in the free agency. I think Brock Hoffman. I think TJ Bass. I think obviously our star Tyler Smith. which we're hearing rumors that they may move Tyler Smith to left tackle. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Deke Charles, who we signed, who's not definitively going to make the team. Whittling it down to the start.
Let them hate. Most hated. Forever our quarterback. I never noticed that in the background.
The roster is going to be a battle. We have like 14 offensive linemen.
Nothing ever lasts forever.
Y'all all ain't making it, big dog.
But he is our quarterback for now.
10 at max. Probably 9. Y'all all ain't making it. 5 of y'all getting kicked off the island. I'm letting you know right now. And Brock Hoffman's like, I'm ready to battle. That's why that message was dope. Ready.
Yes, sir.
Ready for war. That's what we want. Cowboys Nation, that's what we want. We just want somebody that's ready to go to war and earn their job. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't.
All right. That's his opinion on there. Again, shout outs to Rome with Cowboys Fan Talk. If y'all like his videos, make sure y'all go check him out. He does very good Dallas Cowboy content. This is where we're going to start getting into some of the talk about Christian McCaffrey. So if you guys have been waiting for that info, here we go. It's a habit, bro. It's better than smoking cigarettes. But hey, Rigged by Shepherd, if you go to my channel, you'll be able to watch the videos that we're reacting to, and that's where everybody else is. So if you want to be able to watch the video and not just hear the audio, please click the thumbnail that takes you to my channel and go to the other live stream. This is just my alternate stream. It only has the audio version of it. You will get the video version of it over there, and that's where other people are in the chat as well for you to be able to talk with and communicate. But make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. That way you don't ever forget. And notification bell so you don't ever miss out on any other video. We go live all the time, so hang in with us. Looks like you're a Redskin fan. We need more of you. We got a couple Redskin fans in the community, but we could use some more. I like to have fans of all teams over here as we watch multiple football games. I live stream every Cowboy football game, but I do much more than that. I'm live for every Monday, Thursday, and every Sunday game. I do at least 3 games on Sunday. So I get every slate, the first slate, the second slate, and the third slate of games. I'll be live. So Sundays during the football season, I'm live literally from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till about 11 o'clock at night. So make sure you tap in with us.
For the Dallas Cowboys, they have to get one. We all know that. And frankly, given the overwhelmingly stacked nature of this,
so we're going to listen to this and see what they're talking about with this Christian McCaffrey news.
Class, I would argue it'd be kind of hard to not end up getting a running back at some point relatively early this year. I think the value, the depth, the impact, talent is all kind of borderline overwhelming. So we're going to go round by round. I'll pick one top option and mention some others for the Cowboys as well. I also wouldn't rule out the possibility of the Cowboys adding more than one. They could take one on day 2 and one late day 3 as well. So how many running backs will the Cowboys end up drafting? Let me know in today's video, in the comments of today's show. I want to just do an overview here of how I rated this 2024 class against the 2025 class. I had 23 draftable grades last year. I have
this video on mistake is not about the news that I was thinking it was about. The next one 100% is, and it says it. ESPN Sports Center, Christian McCaffrey to Dallas Cowboys. How could this move transform the Cowboys? And this is straight out of the Cowboys building. This is Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Game Day. It's coming straight from Mickey Shots, which is a Dallas Cowboys podcast. So it's coming from their facility. There you go. There you go, big Rigged by Shepherd. Welcome in, brother.
Walls today, but we will be joined in just a little bit by someone from his era. The great Danny White on this edition of Mix Shots, as we are now less than 3 weeks, in fact 2.5 weeks away from NFL Draft Day. And Mickey, you would not believe how much I have filled up my big green NFL Draft Scouting notebook in the last week. There's all sorts of scribbles all over this book right now.
So do you have like 5 pages of potential backup quarterback sightings?
That's where I started. That's at the very beginning.
All right.
In fact, I've been pages are coming out of the notebook. I've been perusing these backup quarterback prospects.
Very nice.
Yeah. But wait a second. I thought the Cowboys had their backup quarterback since the last time we convened. They acquired Joe Milton.
Did they acquire him before?
Mike, I'm going to have to change you. Hold on one second.
Last time
I think we talked about him last.
I can't remember.
It was like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Well, but we did Monday.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, we haven't talked about Joe Milton.
I thought you said we talked about.
No, we haven't talked about Joe Milton. By the way, before we get into Joe Milton, Danny White, we're going to have him on in the second segment. And he and his daughter, Heather Jo, have written a book called Spotlights and Shadows. And I read it last night late after I got home from work. I love the book. I can't wait to talk to him. And it's not, there is football in it, but it's basically a book of life lessons. And I can't wait to hear Danny talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, when I ran into him a year ago, when he was the it was the quarterback award in Fort Worth, Davey O'Brien Award. He was the, I guess they bring in a former legend or whatever, and he was there, and his daughter was with him, and they were talking to me about it, and they said, can we send you kind of a pre-publishing book to read and let me know what you think and if you have any suggestions in it. So I hurried up and read it, and it was fine, and I kind of congratulated them on what they did, gave him a few suggestions, and then I had already read it, and I said, all right, well, when it comes out when we're in training camp, then we'll get him on. Well, one thing leads to another, and we get busy doing what we do, and I never got around to doing it, so I thought, okay, now's a good time. So it'll be interesting to hear why he did it and how they did it too.
Yep, and it's really good stuff, especially for those of us who followed the Cowboys fans back in the 70s and 80s, and have had a ton of respect for Danny White over the years. All right.
Speaking of quarterbacks.
Okay, so we jump right in on Joe Milton. What do you make of the acquisition of Joe Milton, a Cowboys roster that, of course, has Dak Prescott? It's out there on the practice field in the rehab group throughout this offseason and looks good. And you got Will Greer, who was reacquired late season. And now you add Joe Milton to the mix.
So here's the way I look at it. The Cowboys were going to use, or at least we were projecting that they would use a third-day draft choice on a young quarterback that they could groom to potentially be a backup of the future, sort of in the vein of when they drafted Dak Prescott in 2016. Their idea was, okay, we're going to use our second, fourth round pick on maybe the backup of the future, not immediately, but the backup of the future to Tony Romo. And so basically what they did this year was, instead of using a fifth, sixth, or seventh round pick on a quarterback, they used the fifth to trade for Joe Milton the third, a former sixth-round pick of the Patriots, and so that's how they drafted their quarterback, with a year of experience. Now, I thought everybody needed to tap the brakes a little bit, because immediately the Cowboys have acquired their backup quarterback for this season. I don't think they look at it that way necessarily, right?
He can come in and compete for it.
He can compete for it. He's got to compete with Will Greer, so he could compete for the backup job. He could be competing for the third quarterback position on the roster. And I was
sorry about that, guys. Had to change the butt real quick of my little boy. That's what I'm hearing. That's what rumors are. Now, right now, Rigged by Shepard, it's rumors. So we'll find out. I'm going to hear what Cowboys are saying about it.
This does not.
Or at least what they're saying in the building at Cowboys facility. Go. In the potty, then. Dude, I just changed you. Go to the potty if you got to go to the bathroom.
Not preclude them signing a veteran quarterback who's out there.
I think it's likely.
Right?
They will.
You know what, Amy said? It's right there, sitting in front of the couch. Your little potty.
And I don't think it changes anything as far as the acquisition of a quarterback, whether it's in the draft.
So he thinks that the Cowboys will still draft a quarterback in the late rounds, even though we picked up what's considered to be a late round quarterback that has very high potential. Okay, go.
And or free agency. The Patriots gave him away,
right?
Basically, I mean, that's what I don't understand about it.
The Patriots gave him to us for us to literally move back, what, 46 spots in the draft? The Cowboys moved back 46 spots in the draft to acquire a quarterback because we gave up a 5th round pick, but we got back a 7th round pick. But it's a late 5th round pick and an early 7th round pick. So it's literally a 46 pick difference. I wish it could have got us back in the 4th round.
Especially with the potential that Joe Milton showed in the one game that he did play, which was against a lot of Bills backups in the last week of the regular season because the Bills did not need to.
Are you a Seattle fan or a Redskin fan, Rick?
Win that game. I went back and watched the game. Drake May played the first series. It was very, very cold.
And again, my apologies about the 3-year-old in the background. He be wilding sometimes.
Here, when they played Buffalo,
so the Bills were less than enthused to play them,
and they were protecting players because everything was locked up for them as far as the division and their seeding goes. And he looked, and Milton, you've seen the stats. He looked good. Okay. The issue with Joe Milton is that when you look at his stats going back to college,
I'll say, what is they going to say? That he wasn't always accurate? All Seattle logo is your high school? I hear you, bro. That's what's up.
Last
you guys are the Seahawks?
years, he has not played a lot of football. This is going back to his first year at Michigan in 2018. I mean,
sound familiar?
Now, I will say, Michigan Wolverine. Who was a Michigan Wolverine that was a 8th-round draft pick for the Patriots? Now, he also went to Tennessee in the later part of his college career. And you could say that people weren't enthused by his accuracy. People weren't enthused by his play. But in the combine and in training camps, supposedly he has been lighting it up.
Yes, he has literally thrown over the last 7 years about 150, 200 more passes in games than what Trey Lance has the last 7 years. And
you live in Idaho? Idaho potatoes. What up? What up? What up? Hey, man, that's awesome though.
So I agree. Tap the brakes on that. Now,
yeah, there ain't a whole lot of teams up in the northwestern part of America. I'd agree with you.
I think it's a great move for the Cowboys to bring him in. But I'm just scratching my head.
I think he's going to be a better backup than Cooper Rush was for the Cowboys. Honestly, I think Trey Lance could have been a better backup for the Cowboys than Cooper Rush was. He didn't really get the opportunity. I thought he should have had that opportunity last year, though. He never got it.
With the Patriots, this is a guy
But we saw him have a phenomenal game against the Bills number 2s, and he even got the game ball that day. This man can literally throw the ball 80 yards with a flick, like no effort. It's wild.
3 years left on a contract that pays him nothing, $1 million a year.
Not even. I think what he's costing the Cowboys' base salary is $960,000.
Yeah, Boise. I hear you, brother. I hear you.
You're giving him.
He definitely kept Boise State afloat while he was there. He definitely is what made Boise a good team for sure. Before him, Boise was really known for throwing the ball a whole lot. The Cowboys have always gotten a bunch of Boise players. DeMarcus Ware, Tyron Crawford, Kellen Moore. They were all Boise boys.
Him up to move up 46 spots on the last half of the third day of the draft. You're giving him up to move up from number 217 to 171 because they're getting a Cowboy.
So from 217 to 171 was the move up that the Patriots did. So 46 spots to give the Cowboys Joe Milton III. I think was a great pickup by the Cowboys.
Cowboys are getting the Patriots' first seventh-round pick, as well as, and the Cowboys are giving up a fifth. They're moving. The Cowboys are moving down 46 spots,
right,
and get Joe Milton.
Yes.
Well, that's a no-brainer. But it doesn't change anything else. In fact, I would take it a step further on the.
What up, Mr. Beast? How many watch hours do I normally get per live? Usually it's like 120. During Sunday football day, it gets wild, bro. I've had over 300 watch hours for one live stream. I've had over 300. I think it was like 360 watch hours for one live stream on a Sunday football live stream. But that's me live streaming from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 11:30 at night. So it's a long time. It's a lot of hours that I got to put in. It's work.
This draft. And I think that the only way that the Cowboys would take a quarterback in the top 100 picks is if they trade down and pick up an extra.
I don't think the Cowboys are taking a quarterback in the top 100 draft picks at all.
Pick,
right?
Like trade down in the first round and pick up
fourth at least.
I'm saying you could, if you like a quarterback who's still there, even in the second or third round. If you really
I'm waiting for them to talk about McCaffrey.
Like him, okay, and you think he can be an eventual starter for
I know, Beast. I know, bro.
years from now for you, and in the meantime.
Yeah, I got my watch time hours up to 4,000 pretty quick, like for the monetary setup.
Meantime, back Dak Prescott. You can do that if you acquire another.
I think my channel got monetized in like 4 months. I think it took 4 months to get the 4,000 watch hours to monetize the channel. And that was only live streaming. All right, so back then I was live streaming only Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. And I was doing it from 9:30 to 11:30 on Monday, 9:30 to 11:30 on Thursday, and then Sunday was 1 to 11:30. And that's my football season schedule is Mondays. I do the Monday game from halftime on. I do the Thursday game from halftime on, unless they're Cowboy game. Then I do the whole game. And then Sunday, I do 3 different whole games. What up, Magic Johnson? What it do? I don't do a whole lot of baseball, which is crazy. You ask about baseball, but you have a basketball player name and a hockey team logo. That's cool, though. Whatever floats your boat. But hey, man, I'm gonna let you know that if you want to watch the end of this video, because we're coming close to the end. We got this last video to react to. If you click the thumbnail that takes you to my live stream, to my channel, you'll notice that there's 2 live streams. The other live stream has the video that goes with the audio we're listening to.
Top 100 pick.
Right.
And that's the only scenario I can think of that the Cowboys would pull the trigger on something like that, and they would really have to.
But yeah, we do mostly football, and I do some WWE as well. And then I have an alternate channel that I do gaming on. No, baseball is fine. I can't watch baseball on a TV. I got to be in the atmosphere. I got to be at the stadium. I got to be able to feel the environment for me to watch baseball. Baseball, it's hard for me to watch it on TV.
Like that quarterback. But they're still in the market, definitely, for a third-day quarterback, regardless.
But I don't have anything against baseball.
And without a 4th-round pick, that would be 5th round, 6th round, whatever. But that's no knock on Joe Milton. The Patriots were getting.
I think that you kind of are knocking on on Joe Milton by thinking that the Cowboys are still going to draft a quarterback when they just used draft equity to pick a quarterback. Now, we did get some draft equity back, but it was 46 spots further back.
Giving him away. Right. And then what the Patriots did, they have Drake May, obviously, but they signed Joshua Dobbs, who has a history with Mike Vrabel at Tennessee. And he might, Joshua Dobbs might be the brightest person in the league. He's a rocket scientist.
Right.
So he was going to be their backup quarterback. But the problem with Joe Milton is he does not have enough snaps. He has not played enough football.
What time is it? You got like 20 minutes.
For him to say if Dak Prescott got hurt the first game of the season, Joe Milton's going to be able to go in there with that limited experience and do what Cooper Rush did.
You caught lightning in a bottle with Dak in that same scenario, because that was not the plan.
But Dak had so much more experience in college.
I think Joe Milton will come in if Dak gets hurt, I think he will come in and play better than Cooper Rush did. You can call that a hot take. You can call that a wild take. You can call that whatever you want. That's my take, and I about stand on it 10 toes. I think Joe Milton can come in and play better than Cooper Rush did for the Dallas Cowboys, because I think that they can keep the play style that Dak has and implement that with Joe Milton. They could not do that with Cooper Rush because Cooper Rush is not the greatest thrower of the ball.
Joe Milton starting experience in college at Mississippi State. I mean, he got Mississippi State all the way to #1 in the country playing in the SEC.
Right.
Joe Milton spent 3 years at Michigan as a backup, 2 years at Tennessee as a backup, and finally in his 6th year of college got on the field and looked decent enough to be a 6th-round draft pick.
So that was my point, because if I had heard it one more time or seen it written, the Cowboys just traded for their backup quarterback. No, they traded for a candidate to possibly become.
No, Joe Milton's going to be the backup. I about bet you. Now, when you talk about like the Miles Sanders, I think Miles Sanders won't even make the team.
Because as Bill said, the day tomorrow Dak's out.
I agree, Calvin.
You're going to put this guy in there with one game of NFL experience and say, okay, save the season.
And having said all of that, Joe Milton might come in here next week when they start off-season workouts and hit the ground running, and there's no he could pull a Dak.
Let me go ahead and pause the ads so that they don't pop up on you guys again. All right. Exactly. I agree. I'm 100%. I stand on that 100%, Calvin.
Prescott and be the backup quarterback without win over whoever.
I honestly feel like with Trey Lance that nobody really knows what he could be yet. I feel like he really hasn't had a full opportunity to put his talents on the field and on display to show what Trey Lance really could be. I just feel like he's been robbed of every opportunity. One by the injury in 49ers, and then obviously Brock Purdy caught fire, and then over here the Dallas should have given him an opportunity last year. Instead of starting Cooper Rush, we should have started Trey Lance, and then if he faltered, put in Cooper Rush. But at least we would have known at that point what Trey Lance had in him. Right now, when we went into the offseason and Trey Lance was becoming a free agent, we still had no idea. He was still a question mark. He was a question mark coming into Dallas for 2 years, stayed a question mark, had an opportunity. Dallas didn't give it to him. So we paid a 4th-round draft pick, $5 million a year at a backup position, at like the 4th highest paid backup position when he was our 3rd-string backup, not even the backup. And then we never gave him a chance and then let him walk in free agency as a question mark. It's asinine.
What else they bring in here, and the Cowboys hope that happens. But there's a reason that the Patriots gave up on him.
Are we going to get – I think the reason why the Patriots gave up on him, I think that Vrabel – what up, Canyon? to do, brother? What's good? What's good? I think the Patriots gave up on him because Vrabel is not the person that drafted. They're not the person that drafted him, and Vrabel has a relationship with Josh Dobbs. So at the end of the day, Vrabel was gonna go with Josh Dobbs. He knew Josh Dobbs. He had him before. What up, Alyssa? What's good? What's good? Can't run, man. That's Alyssa, not Randy. It just says Randy, but her name is Alyssa. But man, it's just crazy. I think that the Cowboys have been mismanaged by the front office for years, and I'm hoping that's slowly coming to a change as we are starting to see the fall off of Jerry Jones, as he's starting to fall back and let the younger Jones family run the team. And that's what's starting to happen this offseason. We've seen it. Rig, I have to be at the stadium to watch baseball.
After 1 year
I can't really watch baseball on TV.
Where they could have had him as a backup to Drake May for the next 3 years, and the fact that no other team in the league, and now apparently the Patriots are saying that they did Milton a solid and sent him to a place that he wanted to go and had better offers on the table. But even...
He did. Milton did have better offers on the table from 3 other teams, including the Eagles. But at the end of the day, Joe Milton grew up with his parents being Cowboy fans. It was always a dream of his to become a Dallas Cowboy and play in Texas. And now he's going to get that opportunity to at least come in and be the backup.
Yeah, I roll my eyes.
All right. Now, I would really like them to get into the conversation about what the title of their video is, because that's what I really put this video on the stream for. It wasn't supposed to be about Joe Milton. It was supposed to be about what they titled their video to be about. Obviously, they're making us wait until the end of it here. I'm about to skip forward to it, too. All right, I'm going to go ahead and skip forward to it.
49ers receive the running back and the options the Cowboys need. Well, rumors are swirling, and this time they're involving none other than the San Francisco 49ers, a fierce division rival from the 90s. This offseason, the 49ers have been shaking things up, trading Deebo Samuel to the Washington Commanders in a move that saved them a chunk of cap space.
I think Deebo Samuels is about to fall off a cliff with his production and his talent levels.
But raised a lot of eyebrows. So what if they're ready to shake up their roster even more? Could Christian McCaffrey, the superstar running back, be on the move to Dallas? Before we get too deep into that, let's set the stage. Here's the scenario, as proposed by Ali and Muhammad from Sporting News.
Why they got a picture of Zeke? What Zeke got to do with this?
The Cowboys have been looking to bolster their running back position, and they've already brought in Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders this offseason. However, both have faced struggles, and it's unclear whether they're the reliable options the Cowboys need.
Like I said, I think Miles Sanders doesn't even make the 53-man roster. He's getting paid around $120,000. Like, that's come in and be camp body money. That's not money that tells me he's going to be on the team.
Need to lead their backfield. Last season, the Cowboys were dead.
Make sure you guys are tapping that like button too for me. I see we ain't got many likes. Make sure y'all tap that like button for you.
Last in rushing yards per game, with a mere 20-plus yards all year. This has led to a lot of speculation that the Cowboys could target a running back in the upcoming NFL draft. But what if Jerry Jones could land a superstar running back in a trade instead? What if the Cowboys could pull off a trade with 49ers to bring Christian McCaffrey to Dallas? Here's how the trade would look according to this proposal. Cowboys receive running back Christian McCaffrey. 49ers receive pick number 76, 2025 NFL Draft. Third round pick 2026 NFL Draft. Now, at first glance, this might seem like a lot to give up for a player with an injury history. But let's look at McCaffrey's impact when he's healthy. When McCaffrey is on the field, he is one of the most dynamic playmakers in the entire NFL. The talent is
When he's healthy and on the field, I can agree with that statement. He does have some injury proneness to him that is of concern.
undeniable. In 2023, McCaffrey
That rookie right there was really good for us. Cooper Beebe was a solid center rookie for us. I think he's going to get better this year.
rushed for 1,459 yards, scored 14 touchdowns, and averaged 5.4 yards per carry. But it doesn't stop there. He also caught 7 passes for 564 yards and added 7 receiving touchdowns. That's dual threat ability that the Cowboys desperately need to make their offense unstoppable. You may be wondering, is it really worth the risk? And to that, I say, absolutely. McCaffrey's injury history is concerning, no doubt. But when
That's the only concern, really, with McCaffrey is the injuries. And he is starting to get up there in age for the running back position. 30 years old is kind of the top of the market for ages of running backs. Like, that's when they start to have the, I don't know how old. Hey, Google, how old is Christian McCaffrey?
Christian McCaffrey is 28 years old.
So he's
he's on the
28
field,
right now.
he's game-changing. The Cowboys have struggled to find a reliable workhorse running back, and McCaffrey could be that guy to take this offense to the next.
So he's probably got a couple more years until he gets to, I don't know. That's question mark.
Level. Let's break down what McCaffrey could bring to this team. An elite playmaker. McCaffrey's ability to run between the tackles, catch passes out of the backfield, and break big plays makes him one of the most versatile.
Why does Debo necklace have a CD on it? Debo really loves CD Lamb.
Players in the league. The Cowboys' offense would immediately be more dynamic and unpredictable, which would relieve pressure on Dak Prescott and allow CeeDee Lamb to operate even more effectively. A proven winner, McCaffrey is a proven star who's been productive in one of the league's most high-powered offenses in San Francisco. While the 49ers' offensive line has been better than the Cowboys.
Why wear such a big necklace and pendant to play football in?
Line showed significant improvement towards the end of last season. Adding McCaffrey would give this line the explosive back they need to further elevate the offense. Super Bowl caliber, McCaffrey has the kind of talent that can push the Cowboys from good to great. With a player like McCaffrey, the Cowboys could become one of the most complete teams in the NFL, capable of competing with the best of the best. You don't find a player of his caliber in the draft or on the free agent market. Not for what the Cowboys would be giving up. Now, I know some of you might argue that McCaffrey's contract and the salary cap could pose issues.
I will say that this video was slightly deceiving, as it does have the title that we're looking for, and they use a name that's very similar, but this, in fact, is not coming out of the Dallas Cowboys facility. The Dallas Cowboys, it would have said Mickey Shots, or it would have said Dallas Cowboys right here, not Dallas Game Day. So I got bamboozled a little bit. This is more of just a rumor at this point. Less facts, but it is something that we'll have to watch and look into.
Yes, McCaffrey is on a substantial contract, but the Cowboys do not have any salary cap issues this offseason, and the addition of McCaffrey's skill set is worth the financial commitment. Furthermore, with key extensions for players like Mike.
What's good, Loyal? What's good with you, brother? Alyssa, you went over there? Are you in the alternate stream now, Alyssa? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, this is the alternate stream right here. On my channel, the main stream is in there.
Micah Parsons and Tyler Smith looming, this trade could be a short-term solution that boosts the team's Super Bowl chances immediately while the team plans for the future.
Royal and Loyal. We got to get a podcast at some point together, or at least a video where we break down some content together, man. With the Royal and Loyal show, that'd be pretty dope. What up, Messi?
Is this trade a bold move? Absolutely. But it's also...
YouTube didn't give you a notification on my channel? Damn, bro, because I was, yeah, I even had it up like 30 minutes before I went live.
A game changer. A healthy Christian McCaffrey could push the Cowboys over the top and make them a legitimate Super Bowl contender in 2025. A trade like this would make the Cowboys' offense much more dangerous and take the pressure off of Dak Prescott, who's often asked to do it all. But now I want to hear from you, Cowboys fans. What do you think of this potential trade?
Why do they have Saquon Barkley on the screen now?
Would Christian McCaffrey be the piece that the Cowboys need to make a Super Bowl run? Or should Dallas look to the draft for their next star?
Are they comparing CMC to Saquon? That's kind of crazy.
Running back.
Two different
Drop your
styles.
thoughts in the comments below.
All right. So that's that video. That's the rumors so far, I guess, that we hear about CMC to Dallas and the other news that I also talked about in the top of the thumbnail. Hopefully everybody's had a blessed day. I'm about to be off the live here for tonight. We will be live tomorrow at 5 o'clock for the Mark Holmes call-in podcast show that he does. So if you guys want to tune in and tap in with us there, make sure your notifications are turned on so that you guys can check us out while we go live, while I do that podcast with Mark Holmes. Or you can go check it out on Mark Holmes' channel. Either way, I appreciate if y'all come hang out with us. But yeah, we're going to hop off here tonight because we've been live for 2 hours. So y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay great. And we're going to be out.